Have you ever wondered why your grandparents seem to have so much energy, even without fancy gyms or expensive vitamin shakes? It feels like we are doing everything right, doesn't it? We track our steps. We read labels. We buy the low-fat and sugar-free boxes. Yet, we feel more tired and sick than the people who lived 100 years ago. I spent 40 years of my life inside the giant factories that make your food. I was one of the people who decided what went into your grocery cart. For a long time, I thought I was a hero. I thought I was helping feed the world. But I was wrong. I was a slow learner, and I spent decades chasing a ghost. I ignored the truth because I wanted the big office and the fat paycheck. I told myself, I'll be happy when I get that promotion. But while I was climbing that ladder, I was losing something I could never buy back. I was losing my connection to what is real. Most people think they're sick because of bad luck or bad genes. That is what the big companies want you to believe. But today, I'm going to pull back the curtain. I'm going to tell you the real reason my generation didn't get sick like people do today. It isn't a secret ingredient. It is a secret way of living. If you stay with me until the very end, I'm going to share one simple rule. It is a rule I finally learned at 70 years old. It will change how you look at every meal for the rest of your life. Don't make my mistakes. Listen to a man who was a fool for 40 years. So you don't have to be. I'll be honest with you, I was a fool for 40 years. I spent my life in a white lab coat, staring at test tubes and spreadsheets. I lived by a simple lie. I'll be happy when my company hits its sales goal. My job was to make food efficient. We wanted bread that stayed soft for a month. We wanted snacks that tasted like a burst of sunshine but cost pennies to make. I thought I was a genius. I thought I was a scientist saving the world from hunger. But I wasn't looking at the people eating the food. I wasn't even looking at my own family. The day everything changed started like any other Tuesday. I was sitting in a high back leather chair in a boardroom on the 30th floor. We were looking at a new chemical. It was an additive designed to make people want to eat more of our crackers, even when they weren't hungry. We called it a flavor enhancer. In reality, it was a way to trick the human brain. I looked around the room. Everyone was smiling. We were about to make millions of dollars. Then I looked down at my own lunch. It was a sandwich made with the very bread I helped design. I realized I hadn't seen a real piece of fruit or a vegetable that came from the dirt in weeks. I went home that night and found my wife in the kitchen. She was tired. She was opening a box of the food I'd made at work. I looked at the long list of words on the back of the box. I realized I couldn't even pronounce half of them. I saw my young son reach for a bright blue drink I had helped market to kids. My heart sank. I was a slow learner. I was building a kingdom at work, but I was burning down my own home to do it. I realized then that we weren't just eating food anymore. We were eating ideas of food. We were chasing a ghost of health while the real thing was right under our feet, waiting for us to notice it. I quit my job the next morning. I didn't have a plan. I just knew I couldn't spend one more day being a ghost chaser. The truth I found is simpler than any textbook. I realized that my father's generation didn't have wellness experts because they didn't need them. They didn't count calories. They didn't obsess over superfoods. They simply ate things that the sun and the rain had made. The core lesson I learned too late is this: your body is a deep, ancient well of wisdom. It knows how to heal. But today, we are drowning that wisdom in a sea of noise and chemicals. We have traded quality for convenience. We have traded the garden for the factory. We keep saying, "I'll be happy when I find the perfect diet." But the perfect diet isn't something you buy. It is something you return to. It is the simple act of eating food that your great-grandmother would recognize as food. When I look around now, I see three types of people. The first is the bitter grinder. This was me for half my life. The grinder knows the food is bad. They know they feel tired, but they say they are too busy to care. They think they can work hard now and fix their health later. But you only get one body, and there are no returns. The bitter grinder spends their youth gaining wealth, only to spend all that wealth later trying to buy back their health. It is a losing trade every single time. Then there is the wait-and-see complainer. These people are always waiting for someone else to save them. They wait for a new law. They wait for a doctor to give them a magic pill. They spend all their energy pointing fingers at the big companies. While they are busy complaining, their life is passing them by. They give away their power to the very people who made them sick in the first place. Finally, there is the peaceful sage. I see these people in small gardens and at farmers' markets. They are not stressed about the latest health news. They don't follow trends. They have a quiet look in their eyes. They understand that health is not a goal to be reached. It is a way of walking through the world. They choose the apple over the energy bar not because they are on a diet, but because they respect themselves. They know that eating real food is an act of self-love. I spent 40 years being a grinder, but today I am finally learning to be a sage. Tone, gentle, warm, and paternal. Now that I've walked that long, dusty road, I've realized the biggest secret of all. It is what I call the inside job. For 40 years, I thought health was something I had to do or buy. But the truth is much more beautiful. You don't need to be fixed because you were never broken. You are already enough. Your body wants to be well. It is already on your side. When you stop filling it with noise and chemicals, it starts to sing again. You don't have to wait until you lose weight or look a certain way to be worthy of a good life. You are worthy right now, exactly as you are. The peaceful sage doesn't run toward a finish line. They just enjoy the walk. That is the reward I promise to share with you. Here's my one simple rule. If it comes from a plant, eat it. If it was made in a plant, leave it on the shelf. That's it. It isn't about being perfect. It is about being real. When you choose real food, you are telling yourself that your life matters. You're stepping out of the factory and back into the sunlight. It took me a lifetime of regret to see that. I hope it takes you only a moment. I want to leave you with a question to think about tonight. Sit quietly and really listen to your heart. If you stopped trying to fix yourself and started truly loving yourself today, what is the very first thing you would stop putting into your body? Think about it. Then, tell me your answer in the comments. Let's start a conversation about getting back to what matters. I'll be there reading what you have to say. Be kind to yourself. You've been through a lot. It's time to come home.